Okay, okay. We are in a discussion of AWS solution architect, and we've been discussing IAM previously, and also we've been discussing, started discussing about data storage model of AWS and different type of storages. Under that, we're going to discuss S3. We've been discussing some of the S3. So we're going to looking into data consistency in Amazon S3 today. So just need to understand S3 consistency model because we know when I discussing with the regions and availability zones, we discussed about these services. So I discussed S3 is when you upload the object into S3 bucket, it replicated its data across multiple servers and locations within the region, right? And which impact data consistency, right? It's a so when you're uploading an object, it can replicated in the region. So for a little time frame, we need to talk about how the data consistency working. So data consistency, we're going to talk about three different scenarios, right? The first scenario is what will happen if you upload a new object, which we call in a put, right? That means as a simple example, this is a new document or new text file or new image, JPEG file, PNG file. It's a totally a new file. When you upload a new file, right? What will happen? The second case is accessing object overwrite. Uh, well, think about maybe you have one of the document about some of the rules or something, and there's a update. We updated that document and going to upload it again into a same folder, and it's going to be overwrite, right? The new document, whatever uploading, will replace the existing document in S3 bucket, right? And then third case is delete operations. All right, we got some image or the document, so we're going to delete that document, right? How that operation effect, right? So um, all single key updates are atomic. So you will get either new data or old data, never a mix, right? You're not going to get a mix. Either you're going to get a new data or old data. So the when you are uploading a new object put, right? We called it read after write consistency, right? And then when you upload the existing object, we call it is eventually consistent. And then delete operation also we say eventually consistent, right? So in the middle the diagram shows Amazon S3 data consistency model, right? So the first one is a read after write consistency, a new object, right? When you're putting a new object, we call put, right? And then after you uh, get command, try to get a new object, immediate consistency for new object. So it's available immediately after uploading, right? That's called read after write consistency. It's only for new object, right? And then eventual consistency, updates and deletes, right? So put or delete, that put means overwriting, and the delete means delete object and may return all data until update propagate. So until a little while you might get old data. So either you're going to get the old data or you're going to get a new data. So never going to be a mix, but uh, Dates and deletes, S3 object are eventually consistency, right? So you got eventual consistent. So S3 offers strong read after write consistency. What is that? That's for new object for all operations since 2020. So after 2020, so that is applicable. Read after write consistency is strong. That means you're going to get a new object. So also we can control access control mechanisms in S3 object. So multiple layers of access control. So you can have a legacy S3 access control list. So we're probably going to looking into portal and we're going to testing these ones in the future. So after the theory, we're going to looking into these how these ACLs work in AWS portal, and then we discuss S3 bucket policies. So one is resource-based policies we discussed in under the topic of IAM, identity and access management, and then also IAM policies, identity-based access control. So uh, S3 buckets you can use at the user level or you can use resource level, right? And then core string authentication, so temporary URL access. Let's say you want to give someone access a little while, so you can create a temporary URL and give it to the person who want to access it, right? That's access control mechanisms for S3 objects available in AWS, right? Okay, so we're going to continue discussing. So we're going to start discussing about static website hosting with Amazon S3. We are continue to talking about features of S3, right? That's the storage. Now we are discussing S3. S3 got a lot of detail to discuss. So we're going to discuss some of the features. See, this slide should come after the other slide, but let me talk about this slide first. So we're going to talk about KMS, key management system, KMS in AWS, which is you have symmetric and asymmetric keys for security. That's going to be another topic, but we'll discuss how we're going to apply this S3 security features. Here in this slide, we're going to discuss a little bit about S3 encryption methods and additional S3 security features, right? So let's have a quick look at S3 encryption method, but I'm going to discuss these ones in a detail uh, in KMS topic, right? It probably will come after this one. So S3 encryption method. So the encryption we're going to use protection of our data. So encryption at rest and encryption while they're moving, right? So implied encryption while they're moving. So going to use SSL TLS via HTTPS endpoint, right? And then you have server-side encryption, SSE. Server-side encryption, you can use AWS managed keys, right? And AWS KMS, right? Managed keys with audit trails, right? And then SSE, right? Server-side encryption. Customer provided keys, you can use customer provided keys, right? And then client-side encryption data encrypt before sending to S3. So you can use client-side encryption as well. And then additional S3 security features. You can use versioning, protect against accidental deletion. So when you enable versioning, it will keep versions of a document like version 1, version 2, version 3, something sort of like that. And so if you accidentally delete, so you have the previous document version in that one, right? And then you can set up multi-factor authentication delete, right? So extra authentication or for deletion operation. So when you delete, if you enable multi-factor authentication, it alarm you it's a delete process and you need a multi-factor authentication. So might send you a message or something, whatever the multi-factor authentication method you set up and ask before it deletion. So it's an extra step when you're deleting. And then you can use pre-signed URLs, time limited access to object. So let's say you want to give access to someone to access one of the document. It only needed, let's say you want to give one of the auditor to access one of the document. So you can use time limited access to object. You can create a URL which is going to expire within a 1 hour or 2 hour, and then you can send them to auditors to access that one within that period. So after expiring of that period, they won't be able to access that object. And then normally this one is a cross-region replication, geographic redundancy, and then you can use login and notification, so monitor access and changes. So this is really important. You need to know these factors because they're probably going to ask you in the exam, right? And this encryption methods and keys we're going to discuss in KMS under the topic of KMS, right? Okay, so static website hosting, right? Static website hosting with the Amazon S3, right? So again, it gives you a little bit of details about S3 essentials. So purpose, secure, durable, highly scalable object storage, which is S3, capacity, unlimited data in almost any format. So you can upload unlimited data, so common users. So go to backup, distribution, analytics. So we're going to talk about the static website hosting and disaster recovery, right? And so it gives you, we already did this comparison in a little while ago, object storage, block storage, and file storage. So we're going to basically going to talk about this is object storage in here. So block storage is a block EBS, and then file storage is network file system, right? And so here, so flat structure is scalable HTTP access, metadata rich, S3 blob storage, website and backup. So because of this got a data protection, encryption, HTTPS, SSEO client side, you can create a static website with them, right? So versioning for multiple object version, you can keep multiple versions if you deleted or something, and then MFA delete protection, right? Access control via bucket policies and IAM, so resource-based policies, and then also you can have uh, access-based policies, right? Uh, and storage comparison. So here you can see how do you going to access this one, right? Storage comparisons, app level data is object with REST API, right? Block storage, and then OS. So we basically talking about static website hosting. All right, so Static website hosting with Amazon S3, prefixes and separators in S3, right? Although S3 uses a flat structure, prefixes and separators create a hierarchical organization for object within buckets. So typically use forward slash and backslash as separators, right? Because of even if this is like a flat structure, but when you're creating folder inside a folder inside a folder, something like that, you can see in a right hand side level one prefix. So you started with the project, right? And then level two prefix, you can see forward slash project forward slash images, and then you got another one is the same level project documents, right? And then you can go to level 3 project images 2023, and then project documents. Under documents you can have another level, the report. So even this one is a flat structure, you can still have a sort of hierarchy, right? And then that enable you to organize and browse object efficiently, right? Enable logical management of data, right? See example structures our logs organized in hierarchy. If you want to save some logs, you can save the logs in logs in a different order, so you can access um, easily. See that as logs in January 2016, and then server 42 logs, right? And then you get under logs, you get create February 2016, server logs, something like that. So it's a under flat structure, it's still a hierarchical organization, right? For the object. So key benefits of these ones can be supported by accessing through REST API, SDKs, right? And AWS CLI and console. Create department subfolders with IAM policies. So you can apply policies, right? Manage access control by prefix, simplifies migration from traditional file systems, right? So remember, S3 is not actually a file system despite hierarchical organization. It's not a file system, it's a object storage, right? You can't tell it's a file system like a NFS or CIFS, right? So this is not actually a file system, but it is still got a hierarchical organization, right? So static website hosting with Amazon S3, right? What is a static website hosting, right? Website with static content that require no server-side processing like PHP or ASP.NET. So static website, this one normally doesn't have a server-side or PHP or ASP, right? But you can still be interactive and dynamic with the client-side JavaScript. You can use client-side JavaScript, and this offers superior speed, scalability, and security. If you want to um, sort of create a website with a lot of information, but you don't want to client-side, server-side processing, so still you can do this one, right? Sort of you can create the website, right? See that Amazon S3 static website hosting. So you have internet here, and you have AWS here, and then you got a S3 bucket. So S3 bucket, you can create a HTML, CSS, style pages, and then you got a index file, and then you get a JavaScript and image file, right? So these graphs shows you how do you create a S3 static website. and comparing with the traditional website. So speed, you get a better speed. Security also better than traditional because you can use so many different whatever I discussed in previous slides, the security features in there. So scalability is really high as well because there's no limit, unlimited object, and cost-wise also a static website probably better, right? We're going to create a static website in the portal, but here it's a simple process is creating a S3 website. So how to configure S3 for website hosting? So create a bucket matching website host name. So you're going to create a bucket with the website host name, right? And then going to upload the static files to the bucket, right? And then you have to change the security, make files publicly readable through the web, right? And then in the portal, you can enable a website hosting feature, right? And then you can specify index and error documents, right? So you link all pages to index, and then you create whatever the error document. If it's not available, what document you have to present. So access via bucket, right? Bucket name dot s3 uh, dash website dash region dot amazon aws.com. So you need to make sure you keep that format because in the exam it can ask, right? The format is different in two ways. When you're uploading object, one URL, then when you're accessing one, then different URL. So when you're accessing, the first thing come up is a bucket name and then S3 website region Amazon AWS.com, right? We're going to discuss few sort of examples in the future, right? And then set up a friendly domain with a CNAME for Route 53. So you can create your own name and you create a canonical name, right? And then CNAME record to website like you can create a website www.example.com and then you create a CNAME record and it will replace this longer prefix bucket dash name S3 website region amazon.aws.com, right? Using that CNAME record, right? So that's how you're going to create a website, right? And then we need to discuss the storage classes. That's one of the main mm, one of the main topic of S3. S3 storage classes are very important. In the case of life cycle of S3 object, right? Uh, Maybe I will discuss this one, this slide, and then I'm going to finish with the video. Nearly it's 30, 23 minutes now. So we're going to discuss a little bit more about advanced comparative analysis of MS and S3 storage classes. So storage classes come up with the life cycle of objects, right? When they're getting older, you can move this object into a different storage classes, or you can start with the different storage classes according to the access of access requirement of the object, right? That is we call it storage classes, right? Okay, so let's start discussing storage classes, right? And so the normally the one we going to use is we called S3 standard, right? S3 standard, S3 standard is 99.99 percentage availability. You can access within a millisecond access, so fast access, right? That is the normal S3 standard class, and then they are mainly uh, varies with the performance and the availability. So how much you have to how fast you can access, and then how much cost, that the other one, right? S3 intelligent tiering is the same as the standard with automatic cost optimization. So we're going to discuss what is the intelligent tiering, what are the cases we're going to use this intelligent tiering, right? And then S3 one zone 1A, right? That is a single availability zone with a 99.5% availability. So the availability is a bit of a less than S3 standard. And then you have Amazon Glacier. Glacier is minute to hour retrieval time. The retrieval time is longer, right, to Glacier. But if you have any archives like documents you don't want to access frequently, we can use Glacier like in compliance. Let's say you want to keep some audit document, a payroll document, or customer like your employer files or something for 7 years or 8 years according to your compliance requirement. So you can use them. You don't need to access them frequently, but if you want to access, it might take minutes to hours to retrieval time, right? So with that performance and availability, the other thing you considering is the cost structure, right? So standard is the highest cost to keep standard class, and then there's no retrieval fee, so you can access it straight away, right? And S3 1A, right? Intelligent tiering, and one zone 1A, right? Lower storage and higher retrieval cost, right? Uh, and then Glacier. Glacier is the lowest storage cost but highest retrieval fees, right? So you can see in here, right? Uh, in this graph, storage cost dollar per GB per month, right? So S3 is standard, right? S3 is standard. How much is the cost? Let me see whether I can yeah, see that. So storage class S3 standard per GB point 0.23, right? Uh, that means 2.23 cents, right? And then if you go to this one, it's a 0.125 dollars, right? If you multiply it by 100, 1.25 cents, right, per GB, right? That's and then uh, one zone, one A is 0.01 per month. Right? It's, it's, so let's see, one A is 0.01, And then this is the cheapest one. It's a Glacier Flexible 0.0.4. Glacier Deep, how much is deep? 0.0009, right? So it's the cheapest storage cost, but highest access cost. So we're going to mm, briefly discuss this, right? Then going to finish, right? Uh, so why do you have optimal use cases? So S3 is standard normally being used for active data access. So we can use static websites, mobile apps, right? Intelligent tiering, unknown access patterns. If you have unknown access patterns, long life data with changing access, I don't know. Let's discuss later, but maybe something you access time to time or video footage or something like that, right? Standard 1A, that's going to be backup, disaster recovery files, or infrequently accessed data. And then a Glacier, long-term archives, compliance data retention, right? And these are the basically what are the different access data. We can put them in different storage classes. So that is this for today. We're going to discuss the more about life cycle policies in next video. Until then, thank you very